Caleb Tallman, Team FY Sports. I'm joined with Jason Messier of Chatham Charter. Coach, appreciate you taking some time with us this week. I know it's a really busy week for y'all. You've had all kinds of interviews and stuff, so I appreciate you taking some time with us. And I just want to be one of the many in a long line to congratulate you, because just making it to a state championship, winning a regional championship is a really big deal.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Caleb. As I've been saying over and over, we're just really blessed and excited about the opportunity to get a chance to play, and beginning of the year, I mean, that's the goal. I mean, actually, the summer, I mean, that's the goal, is to get to an opportunity to play for a state championship for a lot of these young men who will not go on to play at the next level. This is the biggest game of their careers. So we're definitely excited.
Absolutely. And I know we put out your interview yesterday from the state side of things, but we'll get a little more specific today, not let you give away the keys of the kingdom or anything. But I mean, first off, it just kind of seems like you and Hayesville know each other. It's not like there's not going to be a whole lot of secrets. And, I'm not a coach and you are, and you're one of the better ones in the state. And so maybe you do have some wild trick up your sleeve, but both as you and Coach Cottrell of Hayesville have said, I mean, you guys are 32-1, Hayesville's 27-0. Neither one of you are probably going to bring out a rabbit out of your hat on Saturday, because you've done so well this year and you've made it this far because of who you are.
Yeah, and really, I think both teams are still a little different than when we played a couple of years ago. That particular year, a couple of years ago, we started 4 seniors and a junior. This year, we got 2 freshmen in the lineup and 3 juniors starting. So, and then even Hayesville, their team's a lot different. Yeah, they got the 2 seniors that lead that team, in Colby and McTaggart. So I think the teams are a little bit different, but obviously the coaches, Coach Cottrell and myself still coaching the team. So, and we've obviously have made those adjustments to our current personnel. So yeah, there may not be any, and now with the NFHS network and there's different things. I mean, there's no secrets about teams anymore. So, so I wouldn't say, rabbit up the sleeve here, rabbit in the hat, but obviously, we're hoping to continue to do the things that we've done to get us to this point. I'm not saying that, we couldn't throw a couple of wrinkles in here and there, but we're definitely not reinventing the wheel.
Absolutely. And as we talk about not reinvent the wheel, just share with us maybe about some of your team's style, like how y'all like to play offensively, defensively. As you said, there's not a whole lot of secrets, but just for the fans, Hayesville fans specifically watching this, that haven't, not every fan's like me and goes and watch a bunch of film, but what should folks coming out to the game on Saturday expect from Chatham Charter?
I would say we're a lot similar to Hayesville, the team that you guys have up, your way up there in Hayesville. I mean, we base a lot off of our defense. We use our defense to fuel our offense. We can mix up different styles. So there's really not one particular style. I mean, I know, a lot think that we can, we do like to control tempo, but that tempo depends on, we can run. I mean, we can get up and down the floor. For our particular regional finals game against Wilson Prep, we know they wanted to score 80-90. So, yeah, we slowed the tempo down. But we're capable of doing any style, especially at this point in the season. Earlier in the season, we like to get some of the easy baskets. But as we've continued to grow as a team and as the players have continued to grow, we can play any style. We can play you in the half court. We can play you up and down. You can press us. We can press you. We can play zone, man. So there's no set style in how we're approaching any game that we play. We changed it from, when we played Kit Pride to Wilson Prep, we made some adjustments there compared to our first round opponent in Gates County. So looking at Hayesville, I think they're similar. I think both teams are just fundamental in how they approach the game. Defensively, I think both teams try to do the little things, box out, close out the right way, have your help side defense, your deny, all those types of things. And so we've based a lot of what we do on our defense and just, getting after teams on the defensive end.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about like your style and stuff. Go ahead and just share with us a little bit about your personnel. I mean, just looking at your max prep stats, I know you guys got 4 guys in double figures, but maybe either, talk about those guys or talk about, every team's got leaders, captains. You guys are a younger team, being that you don't have any seniors. I don't believe that see the floor. And so just share with us, who should we be watching out for? Not only scoring wise, but maybe also who are some of your leadership guys that are also really important to your team.
Well, I mean, our leaders this year have been two juniors. Adam Harvey and Amir Mapp have been our captains of the team, kind of getting us situated in our practices, leading the team. We've always had this saying that if you want to be a good team, you can be coach-led. You want to be a great team, you need to be player-led. And so we preach that. We talk about that. And so these guys, they've grown and got more comfortable in that leadership role, because they were both part of the team in our regional finals run 2 years ago. Adam didn't play. He had an injury, so he was out that year. Amir actually started the regional finals game. So there are leaders in that particular aspect. As far as guys stepping up, I mean, we're a well-balanced team. I mean, you just mentioned a little bit with the scoring. That's one aspect, but we have other guys that have come off the bench and have had double digits throughout the year. So we're just, we are based off of team basketball. We are unselfish, teamwork. I don't know if you've had a chance to watch any of our games or if anyone else has, but you'll see that we move the ball well. And it's a lot of similar things that you saw when we saw you a couple of years ago. Just team basketball. I mean, that's how we approach it. Because I've always had the saying is, if you have one scorer, teams can possibly stop one scorer, but how do you stop a team that has five guys that can score at any time down the floor? So that's our approach with that. You mentioned the four guys we have in double digits, two juniors and Amir and Adam, and then two freshmen. So the freshmen here have really stepped up. I imagine it was similar back in the day with when Colby and McTaggart came as freshmen. They had to. I think they both started, I believe, if I remember correctly, when we played up at Hayesville a few years ago. So here we have, these guys play. Brendan Oldham, our big, and then Bo Harvey, our guard. These guys play at a very high level. They're mature beyond their years. So they're no longer freshmen. And I said that yesterday when I was talking with the state in the state playoffs or the North Carolina High School Athletic Association meeting. This will be our 35th game. So they're no longer freshmen. They're experienced. Bo facilitates our offense, but we have multiple guys that can come up and, facilitate offense if needed. So I think I answered everything there, I believe.
Yeah, you did. And then just tell us a little bit. I mean, the playoffs, it seems like, or share with me real quick, how long have you been the coach at Chatham? Has it been since the beginning or?
Yeah. So this is our 8th year of varsity basketball. So I've been, started the program. Our first year, we were kind of a JV hybrid team. But as far as being, varsity basketball, this is our 8th year. So yeah, I've been the only coach our high school team has had.
Yeah. So obviously it's, and we might talk about that in a second. A lot of charter schools, people have negative opinions on them, especially where we live. They just don't have a full understanding of how they work. But you guys aren't one of the fly-by-night charters. Like, you've been the same coach there the entire time. You're not just cycling players in and out, back and forth. I mean, you talk about a couple of the guys that are now juniors that played against Hayesville 2 years ago when they were freshmen. But will you share with us just a little bit about how this week has looked different for y'all versus the previous weeks of playoffs? And the reason I asked how long you've been there is it seems like in the last 4 or 5 years, especially of COVID, the NCHSAA basketball playoffs, the schedule is different. It seems like, I think 3 years ago when y'all came to Hayesville, it was, only 2 games a week. And then so far in playoffs, I mean, it's almost March Madness style, even more so because, that first week, 3 games, second week, 2 games. So you've not had, a full prep, really. I mean, because one day it's hard to get a full practice in and do much more than a walkthrough in 1 or 2 days. But now you've had a full week between games. So how has that changed y'all's preparation?
It hasn't. I mean, so even though we've had all those games, the 3 games, the first, the 2 the second, I mean, if we were just a team that hadn't prepared throughout the year, then that would be challenging. But because of how we approach things and been doing these things for a period of time, these guys are veterans now. I mean, they're a veteran team. So they know how we need to approach and the things that we need to do. So, yeah, we may not do as much as, say, the conditioning aspect, if I could say, or some other things. But, it hasn't really affected us in that way. I mean, we got to prepare for a team. We'll talk about the players the team has. But, we all year have said it doesn't matter who we're playing. I mean, if we play our style and do the things we do, it doesn't matter who our opponent is. Now, this particular situation, the stage is bigger. I mean, because obviously it's a state championship game. But we're not approaching it any different. I mentioned yesterday, we cut our practice a little short on Monday, but we're going back through the same type of things when we get into practice. getting back, working on those fundamentals, doing the fundamentals of the game, trying to prepare for the team that we're getting ready to play. So, I know a lot, being that we're a charter school. So as you were mentioned earlier, people don't really understand the charter aspect. So we are a K-12 school. So we're a K-12 school. Our elementary students are in the gym having PE, throughout the day. I teach up in our middle school. So, I think the aspect of seeing that is that these people come through. When we do our youth summer camps, a lot of our students are coming to our summer camps. So they're seeing these basketball players. So some of my players have come to my camps when they were in elementary school. So, on this particular team, I've seen these guys come through, since they've been in second grade, fourth grade, So I think that aspect is it gets the excitement around the program. It gets the excitement around the team. They want to play for Chatham Charter basketball. And then now, making a, state playoff run here and being able to play for a state championship game, that's only going to get that excitement even more here at a K-12 school. As I mentioned, we're having a pep rally. I mentioned that yesterday with the High School Athletic Association. We're having a pep rally for our team. So a lot of the same things I imagine that you guys are doing up in Hayesville is the things that we're doing. I mean, you have to celebrate these types of teams. I mean, this is special. Not everyone gets to do this. Not everyone gets an opportunity to play for a state championship. So we're celebrating that. I think I heard Coach Cottrell mentioning yesterday, 2004. I think it's been about almost 20 years since he had an opportunity to compete for a state championship. So, and I imagine, having his experience coming through, having already played in one, just as he said when I listened to his interview, I mean, it's business as usual. They're doing the things that they've done that got them to that point. I mean, to sit there for them to be 27-0 is special. I mean, that's a special team and that's a special season. And, that just shows the work that the players have put in. That shows the work that the coaches have put in. And same thing for us. We came through this playoffs on the East. In my opinion, I felt we were getting overlooked. A lot of people didn't feel that we deserved that number one seed. So, and we just told our guys, just, it's okay to be the underdog. It's okay, use that as fuel. And so I think they did. They came out with an edge to them. Just like any playoffs, we had games, got close a little bit here and there, but, we stuck to what we do that has allowed us to be successful. And that's why we're here.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, people are going to complain no matter what about the RPI system, the max preps ratings that we used to use. But at least in our division this year in 1A, it's kind of hard to argue the RPI was wrong because the number one seed on each side got there. So at least for this year, it'd be pretty hard to complain that the RPI system was skewed, at least in the 1A side of things.
Well, and I think that, for what we tell our guys, we don't worry about that stuff. I mean, that's out of our hands. We can't worry about it. So we just go out and you just play to win. I mean, you win the game, you let all the other stuff hash out. So on the different forums and different stuff, people will say, people are always not going to be happy, and that's just part of it when you have success, And so, those are things we can't worry about. Those are things we can't control. But what we can control is how our effort during practice, how we prepare for games, and that's it. I mean, that's just what we tell our guys.
Yeah, just share with us a little bit, Coach. I know you mentioned before. I always ask this when I talk to charter schools or prep schools, and the local fans in Hayes like to hear it because some of the schools I talked to that when Hayesville played charter schools earlier, just from the feeling I get and from having known you from prior years, is a whole lot different than y'all in the way you guys get your players. You talk about being a K-12, so as a large majority of the players on your team, guys that were a part of the middle school and were a part of the elementary school versus, and maybe share like how many kids you have per grade level at Chatham. And if, I think the common misconception about some charter schools, and it's right about some charter schools, is that, hey, Coach Messier's out there in downtown trying to recruit players in the off season. But from what I know about Chatham, that's not really the case with y'all.
Well, I mean, I can't really elaborate on any of these other schools. What I can tell you is that we here at Chatham Charter do it the right way. I can't elaborate on other schools and how they approach and what they do. We have our kids that have come here. I have 13 players on my roster, and I will tell you that 2 of them that are reserves came here as freshmen. Every other kid has been here since elementary school to middle school. So, being that we're a K-12 school, that a lot. We have our high school, we have 50 kids per grade level. I think 9 through 12, we probably have about 190 kids. They have to play multiple sports. We have schools that are around us. You know, one of them's a 2A school, one of them's a 1A school, and then probably about 40 minutes away, 30, 40 minutes away, we have another 3A school that's in Chatham County, and Chatham County is a large school. So I don't really want to elaborate much on these other schools. I can tell you that we do things the right way. We approach it the right way, because really no matter what answer I give you, there's people are not going to be happy.
Well, yeah.
There's no, a lot of your charter schools or public charter schools are on a lottery system. So I have no part in any of that type of stuff. We go for our tryouts when we're going to have it, and we see who we have, and then we pick our team from there. And we don't have a JV team. We tried to have one this year, didn't have enough kids for a JV team. So if you want any more specific questions, if I didn't answer your question.
No. And that's what I was trying to get across, because, and I don't want you to, that's my job to media personalities sometimes like to give different opinions and stuff, but having known y'all, having played y'all before, I just, with letting people that see this interview get across that you guys, you're not recruiting 7 kids a year for a new team every year. But
if we're recruiting kids, you can look at my roster and see
exactly
what we have. We have high academic, good kids, good students.
And that's exactly what I'm wanted to be able to let anyone.
But no matter how you approach it, or how I approach it, we're not going to make those people happy.
Oh yeah.
Because it's easy to say that these are the things. Watch us play. You'll see why we're here. We're here because we work on fundamentals. The game, we play it the right way. And we've had some fortunate breaks, to get to the state championship game, you have to have things go your way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for us this particular season, things have gone our way. As far as during the game, maybe, playing 4 home games in the first round, getting that #1 overall seed in the East. Playing 4 home games. I know traveling to Hayesville a few years ago, traveling there on the bus ride, it was like 6.5 hours for us. Our bus broke down. We had to wait an hour. So it was a 7.5-hour trip. So those types of things can influence, that home court advantage is a legitimate thing. We got to experience that, this year, having 4 games home and having our fans and our school, supporting us was just, fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I was trying to get across, is just that y'all are one of the ones that do it the right way. And one thing I always like to share too is this is a system that the state of North Carolina set up. You guys are just playing by what's given to you. It's not like you can't decide I want to go play in a different division. You're playing under a set of state rules, just like Hayesville is, just like any other prepper charter does. And that's always been my thing. It's not players' faults. It's not coaches' fault. If someone wants to be mad, the one they should be mad at should be the state. And I'm not saying right or wrong. People can have different opinions. But
I don't know. We don't choose our conference. Our conference is told who we're going to be in. We don't choose. Based on our school size. They tell us if we're 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A. So, you're right in that aspect. We're not choosing those types of things. Now, our non-conference schedule, those types of things, we're kind of looking at schools and reaching out to schools and, finding those teams to try to get that balance with our schedule to try to prepare for moments like this.
Well, Coach, I've kept you longer than I should have already, but I appreciate your time. Just tell me one thing, and this might be a repeat of a previous question, because I know you guys are all trying to be about consistency and those type of things. But if your team's going to win a state championship on Saturday, what's one thing you're looking for them to do when they show up to Reynolds Coliseum?
I'll leave everything on the court. Just play as hard as they can.
Well, I appreciate it, Coach. Thank you for your time today. Hey, we look forward to seeing you on Saturday. I know a lot of people, including myself, are calling this one the rubber match between y'all and Hayesville. So it's a pretty cool opportunity to see y'all again on Saturday, and I anticipate a really good basketball game.
I appreciate it.